Yes, Prabhuji.
Ah,
I'm the father of this universe, the mother, the support and the grandsire. I'm the object of the knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I'm also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurvedas.
So here, so Lord Krishna talks about how he is the creator, maintainer, and caretaker of everything that is there in the entire universe. So he is identifying with this universe in variety of relationships that is indicated in this verse. So Prabhupada writes in the purport in the middle, he says that all the Vedas, before that line, actually any living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas therefore aim only towards Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step forward toward understanding Krishna. That subject matter which helps us purify our constitutional position is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all the Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such is also Krishna. So like that, Prabhupada is saying that everything is Krishna only. That is what is indicated in this verse. Everything is identified along with Krishna. So it says, because I am the possessor of all energies, both material and spiritual, and I am the Paramatma within all matter and all the jivas, Andantarastha Paramanucha Antarastham. The number of living entities, though it may be very huge, and it is not a problem for me to maintain them. So I am the creator, maintainer of all the universes with all the unlimited number of living entities. That is kind of indicated in this verse. So here Lord Krishna says, I am what is to be known and what purifies, just like the waters of Ganges. Vedyam Pavitra Monkaram. I am Om, the seed of all the Vedas and the cause of knowledge of Brahman, the object of knowledge. I am the three Vedas, Ruk, Sama, Yajur, Evacha. Cha indicates other Veda too. Some details about these Vedas, what the Vedas consist of, that is mentioned here. Ruk refers to the Vedic verses with regular syllables. Sama refers to those verses with regular meter and which are sung. That means Rigveda, the verses of Rigveda cannot be sung. Samaveda verses can be sung very nicely. Some say that Sama refers to any verse which is sung. Yajus refers to verses not sung, they are in prose and with irregular syllables. So these are the some details about Rigveda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. I am the three types of mantras used in performance of so many Vedic rites, so many yajnas. And Lord Krishna also says that it is I who is Pita. I am the father of the universe because it is I who create all the living entities. And I am the mother because it is I who maintain the living entities. Pita Masa Jagata Mata Data, and Pitamaha. I am the grandfather because I am the father of Brahma, who is the direct creator of all of you. If Brahma is your father, I am your grandfather, and I am your mother because I maintain all of you. It is I am your father because it is I who create, who impregnate the material nature. So in that way, Lord Krishna gives his relationship with all the living entities in this verse. And then how he maintains all of us. That maintenance aspect is mentioned in the next verse, in the verse number 18. Gatir Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Charanam Suhrut Pralabhava Pralayasthanam Nidanam Bijamavyayam.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed.
So in the first two lines of this verse, Lord Krishna indicates how he is the maintainer. The next two lines he talks about how he is the creator and annihilator. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Srut. By manifesting in all these different features, he maintains all of us. And by becoming the source and the cause of destruction, he is both uh, the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction in that way. And these are all mentioned in this verse. Gati refers to the method or the path by which a goal is achieved, that by which something is attained, gamyate. Actually, he is our gati. He is our ultimate destination that is supposed to be obtained. And he is Bharta, he is the protector, he is also Prabhu, the controller of all of us. And he is Sakshi, he is the seer of all our sinful and pious activities. He is situated within our heart as Paramatma and is witnessing all our pious and sinful activities. He is Nivasa, he is the place of enjoyment where one resides. He is our ultimate shelter. When we should always anticipate to go back home back to Godhead, that is the we need to get the shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, the Lord of Vaikuntha, the Lord of spiritual world. Thus, he is our ultimate shelter, Nivasa. Sharana means he who takes away the suffering of one who approaches him. Dukkam sisrishyate asmin. He who takes away the misery of those who surrender at his lotus feet. Thus, he is called ultimate Sharana. Suhrut, he is one who does beneficial activities for someone else because of that person's qualifications. He does all the beneficial activities for those people who surrender to him. Thus, he is actually the supreme well-wisher. And then he is also called as Nidanam. He is the treasurer of all the different variety of wealth. He is Bijam Avayam. He is the indestructible cause. He says that I am not perishable like the rice and other material seeds. He is the source of everything that is there in this material world. And from him comes the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. It says that Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam. Prabhava refers to creation, Pralaya refers to annihilation, Sthana refers to the maintenance. He is the source of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. All these aspects are his own manifestation. So, thus, Lord Krishna talks about his connection with creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and specifically the maintenance is mentioned in many features. So, that is also mentioned here in this verse. And finally, in the 19th verse, he talks about his connection with the various performers, those who perform tapasya, jnana, yoga, etc. So, that is mentioned in this verse. Karma, jnana, yoga, that is mentioned in this 19th verse. Tapamyaham aham varsham Nigranami visurjami cha amrutam chaiva murtyuscha sat asatchaham Arjuna.
O Arjuna, I give heat, and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
So here Lord Krishna indicates about various aspects that are being used by karmis and jnanus, etc. So Lord Krishna says, I, the son of Vasudeva, one person holding all powers, am situated in the form of the whole universe with many names and many forms. Some worship me with this jnana yajna, which searches out the one person in these many things. So he said that tapamyaham, I am tapasya of those who perform in tapasya. Aham varsham, I am the rain. Nigranami visrujamja. Sometimes I come, sometimes I don't come. That means in the rain season rain comes, in the other season rain does not come. Amrutam chaiva, I am the liberation itself. Mrutyuscha, I am also the death. I am liberation for the jnanis and yogis. I am death for the karmis. Sat asat cha aham Arjuna. I am everything that is grass and everything that is subtle in this world. So like that, finally Lord Krishna indicating that It is I, the son of Vasudeva, one person in one form, holding all powers and situated in the form of the whole universe with all different distinctions, with many names and forms. Some worship me with this Jnana Yajna, which searches out that one person in many forms. And that person, whoever worships me in these different varieties, will get liberation in the form of impersonal Brahman. Because they are not directly worshipping the personal form of Supreme Lord, so they don't get personal liberation. They only get the impersonal liberation. So thus the worshippers of Vishwata Mukha are mentioned in these verses from 16 to 19. The worshippers of Ekatva, who see the Supreme Lord as one with themselves, was mentioned in the verse number 15. Now Prutatvena, those who worship the Supreme Lord in different devatas, that is indicated in the next 4-5 verses from verse number 20 to 25. So basically Lord Krishna indicates that some people actually worship the devatas as my expansions, but many do not do that. Those who don't worship the devatas as my expansions, they will go to Swarga but fall down, come back and take birth once again in this material world. But those
Hare
who
Krishna,
worship, sorry,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this ekatvam, those people are they worshipping is a thinking that themselves as a god. Then how they can become liberated by this impersonal Brahman?
See, they are thinking themselves are not Lord, that they are identifying themselves with the Lord. They are seeing that Aham Brahmosmi, I am also transcendental, Lord is also transcendental. They are not identifying themselves with the material subject matter. They are considered to be lowest among all. They are actually very lowest, but somehow or other, because they are only worshipping the Supreme Lord through Jnana Yajna, they will also, along with Shravanam Kirtanam, they will also attain impersonal liberation. So
But
in that way.
their thinking is that I am also one of the I'm also a god. Then
No.
these as
There is little different. They are not saying that they are Lord. They are saying that I am one with the Lord. I am similar to the Lord. Ekatva means they are seeing themselves of similar substance of the Supreme Lord. Indirectly, they are thinking that they are non-different from the Lord, and hence they want to become one with the Lord. So they are worshipping the impersonal form of the Supreme Lord in that way.
Okay.
So these are all also, Acharya say that they are also kind of devotees, because they are not saying that the other manifestations of the Lord, like Paramatma Bhagavan, are material.
Okay.
These are different from that moodas which are described in the 11th verse.
Oh.
So these are some people who are actually jnanis, but they are worshipping the Supreme Lord through the process called as Jnana Yajna in the form of Ekatva. They are basically Brahmavadis. They say everything is Brahman, everything is the manifestation of Brahman. They want to worship Brahman, they want to become one with Brahman. Such kind of Brahmavadis. They are not Mayavadis. They are not deriding the form of personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Because their understanding is only in the form of Brahman, so they are trying to worship that Brahman through the process called as Ekatva. So thus they only attain impersonal liberation. So in that way.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Right. So now the discussion goes on. Those devotees who worship me through those three methods, Ekatva, Prutaktva, Vishwatomukam, and know me as the Supreme Lord, become liberated. But those who follow the material karma and do not become liberated. This is explained in the next two verses 20 and 21. But those who simply follow material karma, they do not become liberated. So that is mentioned in the next two verses 20 and 21. Traividya mam soma papota papa yajnair ishtva swargatir prartayante te
हरे कृष्ण महाराज।
punyamasadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan
और
divideva bhogan.
हाँ,
Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
So these two verses are actually talking about those people who study the Vedas, but they become attracted to the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas, and they perform Karmakanda rituals with a desire to go to Swarga, thinking that the happiness that can be obtained by going to Swarga is all in all. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipachita vedavada ratapartha nanitastiti vadina. So that was mentioned in the second chapter, verse number 40-41. The Vedavada Rathas, those who study the Vedas. And here also they are called Trividyamam. The Trividya, those who studied the three subject matters of Vedas, or the three Vedas, they are called as Trivedis. Prabhupada writes, they are called as Trivedis. And they are only interested in going to Swarga and enjoying the opulence of Swarga. Indeed, by following all these Vedic Karmakanda rituals, they actually go to Swarga, they enjoy in Swarga, but once their piety is over, they will fall down. So in spite of worshipping the different Devatas who are in a way manifestation of Supreme Lord, they simply go to Swarga and they come back, because this worship is not a bona fide form of worship, because they are seeing the Devatas independent of the Supreme Lord. Those whoever worship the Devatas independent of Supreme Lord, even though they may go to Swarga, but they will come down and take birth in this Mrityu Loka. Thus, their worship is not a bona fide form of worship. That is indicated from verse number 20 to 25. The 6 verses talks about non-bona fide worship of Devatas. But if someone worships the Devatas, considering the Devatas to be different limbs of the Supreme Lord, like Indra to be the hands, Upendra to be the legs, Surya to be the eyes, Chandra to be the mind, Varuna to be the tongue, Vayu to be the skin, like that, that kind of worship if somebody does, that is actually in one way the bona fide way of worshipping the Devatas, and that worship will give them liberation, impersonal liberation. But worshipping the Devatas independently and thinking Sarga to be the ultimate destination will lead temporary heavenly happiness, but repeated birth and death in this material world. So this verse, Lord Krishna teaches us that the collection of 3 types of knowledge is called Trividya. That is understanding of Karmakanda, Jnanakanda and Upasanakanda. Those who have studied these 3 sections of the Veda, they are called as 3 Vedis, the knowers of 3 Vedas. Those who study and know this are called Trividya, and they are dedicated to the activities described in the 3 Vedas. Though they do not know that the forms of Indra and other Devatas are my forms alone, my different bodily limbs alone, actually they are worshipping me, situated in those respective forms by Jyotishtoma and other sacrifices prescribed in the 3 Vedas. So Lord actually seeing that they are worshipping me in my different manifestations, but they don't know that. That is unfortunate situation. Drinking by this worship, Trividya Mam Soma Papota Papa Yajna Rishtva Swargatir Prartayanti. Swargatir Parthayanti, with a desire to go to Swarga, They are performing so many yajnas like Jyotishtoma, etc., etc., etc. Te punya masadya surendra lokam. By accumulated punya, by the performance of all these yajnas, they eventually go to Swarga. In Swarga, Ashnat Divyan Divideva Bhogan. They will enjoy all the bhogas of Swarga. Divi Deva Bhogan. All the heavenly enjoyment will be at their disposal in Swarga because they have performed all the Vedic rituals. Thus, drinking the remnants of sacrifice, that is Somarasa, being purified of sins which obstruct their attainment of Swarga, they pray for the Swarga. They attain Swarga. They go to Swarga. They perform all the variety of sacrifices such as Jyotishtoma with a desire to go to Swarga. So that is what is indicated in this verse. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from the three Vedas is respected in the society as three Vedi, Chaturvedi, Panchamavedi, like that. Unfortunately, there are many great scholars in the Vedas who do not know the ultimate purport of studying them. Therefore, Krishna herein declares himself to be the ultimate goal of the three Vedas. Actual three Vedas take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Supreme Lord. That's why the Padma Purana shloka says that Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. The Brahmanas who are supposed to be the knowers of three Vedas or Chaturveda, four Vedas, they are supposed to know the Brahman, the true position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, they end up performing this kind of karmakanda rituals with a desire to go to Swarga. Then Prabhupada writes, devotional service begins with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to the different devatas like Indra and Chandra. They will not understand the tranquil position of Krishna. That is unfortunate situation. Being filled with desires for enjoyment, they take repeated birth and death. That is indicated in the next verse. Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्य लोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयीधर्म मनु प्रपन्ना गतागतं काम कामा लभन्ते.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
So having entered Swargaloka, Tetam Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam, they experience unlimited pleasures of Swarga. But by the way, as soon as their piety is diminished, Kshine Punne, Marte Lokam Vishanti, they will come back to Marte Loka, that is Bharata Varsha, Bhuloka, immediately when their piety is over. Evam Traidharma Manu Prapanna Gata Gatam Kama Kama Labante. So, understanding that going Swarga is the ultimate benefit in their life, they continue to perform such kind of sacrifices life after life. They go to Swarga and come down. They go to Swarga and come down. Like that, they will continue their material existence in this material world. So, this is the destiny of those people who worship the devatas only with a desire to go to Swarga, not considering them as the different bodily limbs of the Supreme Lord. So, thus, these people will remain in this material world. But Lord Krishna says, but my devotees who continuously worship me, I take responsibility that they will, as long as they are there in the material world, I will take care of their maintenance. And when they are ready to come to spiritual world, I will bring them to my spiritual abode and engage them in my personal service. So for my devotees, I take personal responsibility of their welfare in the material world, also in the spiritual world. But others who are worshipping the devatas, they will go to heaven, they will enjoy, and they come down again, perform yajnas, they go to heaven, they will remain here. That Lord Krishna indicates in the next verse. Now the Lord describes the details of his own devotees. On the other hand, the happiness of my Ananya Bhaktas is given by me. It is not obtained by the pious activities that they perform. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham.
But
But
those
those
who
who
always
always
worship
worship
me
me
with
with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
So in this verse, Lord Krishna indicates that Ananyas chintayanto mam, my Ananya Bhaktas who are continuously thinking about me, ye jana paryupasate, those Ananya jana chintayanto paryupasate. Upasate means worshipping me. Paryupasate means continuously worshipping me, continuously. In all endeavors. So such kind of devotees, tesham nitya abhiyuktanam. Why they are worshipping me continuously with constant thinking about thought about me? Nitya abhiyuktanam. They have a desire that they want to become my eternal associate in the spiritual world and want to serve me there in person in one of the four rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya or Madhurya. And for such kind of devotees, I personally do two things, yoga and kshema. When as long as they are there in the material world, I provide what they lack, I maintain what they have, and when they are ready to come to spiritual world, I bring them to spiritual world, that is yoga, and I'll remove whatever obstacles there may be there on their path, that is kshema. So in this way, I personally take the responsibility of my Ananya Bhaktas, but I don't take the responsibility of those who are worshipping the devatas as their life and soul. Though I may send them to Swarga, I may allow them to enjoy the heavenly happiness, but that will be temporary. They eventually have to come down and take birth again in Mrityu-loka. But for my devotees, whether they are in the material world or they are in the spiritual world, it is I personally take care of them. Just like the leader of the house takes care of the welfare of the wife and children, similarly, I take care of the welfare of all my devotees, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. This is the special affection shown by the Supreme Lord towards his own devotees. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the last line, the Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditional life. That means Lord takes the devotee to spiritual world and makes him his eternal associate, because that is a desire cultivated by the devotee. Nitya abhiyuktanam. Nitya means constant or eternal. Yukta means to become an eternal associate of the Supreme Personality of God in his spiritual abode. I alone take the responsibility for bringing and protecting food and other necessities for those people who take me alone at the goal, who meditate upon me continuously and worship me thoroughly in all ways, in all different means and ways, and who are always absorbed in me, Nitya Bhuktanam, forgetting about their bodily maintenance. For such kind of people, I take care of their bodily maintenance. They worship me as the reservoir of auspicious qualities, as the reservoir of variegated, astonishing, ambrosial pastimes, as the reservoir of divine powers. So this is their thought. So when they are worshipping, forgetting their bodily maintenance, it is I who look after their bodily maintenance. For those who desire association with me eternally, I alone bear the responsibility for their attaining me and prevent them from separating from me. So Lord does both the things. When they are in the material world, they will take care of their bodily maintenance. When they are ready to come to spiritual world, I will make sure that they will come to spiritual world. I alone take the responsibility of their attaining me. The devatas such as sun god do not do this. So this is indicated in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna himself says that it is I who bring them to my spiritual abode instantly as soon as they are ready to come to spiritual abode. Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So this describes the qualities of those devotees. Etu sarvani karmani, through all their activities, mai sanyasya, completely being dedicated to me, matpara, considering me as their Lord and Master, ananyenaiva yogena, without any other thought, by executing bhakti yoga, mam dhyayanta upasate, they worship me by constantly thinking me. For such kind of people, what I will do? Teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara tagarat bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. For such kind of people whose Chetan is always thinking about me, for them I will become the swift deliverer from this Mrityu Samsara Sagara, and bring them to my lotus feet. So this is the attachment of Lord Krishna towards his own devotees. That's why the word used in this word is Vahamyaham. I personally take care of them, just like husband takes care of the wife and children's maintenance and welfare. Similarly, the Lord becomes the intimate relative of his own devotees and take care of them personally. So this is the greatness of the Supreme Lord towards his devotees who are completely surrendered to him. So he also becomes their subservient. Ye etamam prapadyante tamstaiva bhajamiham. So this is the greatness of Ananya Bhakti, which brings Lord Krishna under their control, which brings Lord Krishna which makes Lord Krishna as their caretaker and welfare, etc., etc. So thus, in verse 15, you have mentioned the three types of worship, and then to explain the third type of worship, Vishwarupa worship, you have recited verses to illustrate it, 16 to 19. And some others worship Indra and others as part of their practice in Karma Yoga, that is indicated in verse number 20. Though they predominantly worship other devatas, they are also your devotees, because the devatas are your different bodily limbs. Why do they not get liberation? Rather, you said that they again take repeated birth and death in verse 21. Kama kama labante. That Dakshine Punye Martulokam Vishanti Evam Traidharmanu Prapanna Gata Gatam Kama Kama Lavante. Gata Gatam. They get again and again repeated birth. So, and men of small intelligence worship the devatas, and their fruits are limited and temporary. This you indicated in the 723. So this seems to be partiality in you. Though they are worshipping the devatas, since the devatas are your bodily limbs, indirectly they are worshipping you. Then why they are not getting liberation? In spite of worshipping you in the form of devatas, why they are not getting liberation? But others who are worshipping you in the form of universe, with a desire to become one with you, they are getting liberation. This is not proper in you. Then Lord Krishna answers, why the devata worshippers don't get liberation, but those who worship the universal form get the liberation. That is mentioned in the next verse. Epi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti avidipurvakam.
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship me, only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way.
So, Epi Anna Devata Bhakta Yajante Shraddhayanvita. though with complete faith, they are worshipping all the variety of devatas. From my point of view, I may consider that Tepi Mamaya Kaunteya. The devatas are all me only. But their worship is Avidhi Purvakam, not in proper way. Because I know that different devatas are my bodily limbs, and hence they are me only. But the worshipper does not know this. Because worshipper does not know this and he does not understand that they worship the devatas as the supreme lord. They worship the devatas as their ultimate goal. That thinking is Avidhi Purvakam. Worshipping in that thinking is called Avidhi Purvakam. So because of this worship of Avidhi Purvakam, they don't get liberation. That is indicated in this verse. It is true that they are actually worshipping me, but they worship without the proper rules, which will not allow them to attain me after extinguishing samsara. Therefore, they return to this world of repeated birth and death. So, when one worships, one should actually have proper knowledge of worship. So, in the purport, actually, Prabhupada chastises the Devata worshippers by as the people who give bribe in order to fulfill their desires. The entire government is there. So, in order to get things done, they may give bribe to the intermediate people so that the things go fast and they are carried out properly. Such kind of people are compared with the Devata worshippers. Devata worshippers are like instead of worshipping Supreme Lord, they are actually giving bribe to the intermediate Devatas, saying that you are everything, you are supreme. Such kind of worship is not approved by Lord Krishna. So that is indicated here. The officers and the directors are engaged as representative of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and the directors is illegal. This is stated here as Avidhi Purvakam. In other words, Lord Krishna does not approve the necessary worship of the Devatas. So then, Lord Krishna finally concludes what kind of Avidhi Purvakam they are performing in the verse number 24. The Lord shows how they do not follow the proper rules by expanding the phrase Avidhi Purvakam. Aham ye sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha na tu mam abhijanati tatvena taschavantite.
The master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
So here Lord Krishna explains the meaning of Avidhi Purvakam. So what is the meaning of Avidhi Purvakam? Lord Krishna explains in this verse. Aham ye sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha na tu mam abhijanati tatvena taschavantite. Because one should know that it is I who expand in the form of yajna. It is I who expand in the form of devatas. So when somebody performs an yajna and offers something in the form in the name of devatas, it actually comes to me. It is I who am the actual and final enjoyer of all the yajnas. One who does not know this, their performance of yajna is not proper.